Welcome back to The Longest Journey. We're here in we entered the portal that Cortez made the last episode, and
Quaint.
now
And they
we're
go
here.
with the general decor of the place. Oil lamps, or whatever their magical equivalent may be called. Enormous satin drapes. The doors are closed.
Let's see, this priest guy, who's this?
He looks like some kind of priest.
He might be. Let's talk to him, if we
Hello?
can.
Hi.
Is he
Et
mute?
tu? Emile, tu vas?
Do you speak English? Parlez-vous français? Habla español?
Aku, stakayan paras. Inomalante candra, ton maris orethesiton.
What the hell's that supposed to mean? That's not.
Aku tu fata, sequandare, ken estale, ton.
What? Who are
Who
you?
are you?
Ken esang maris ortona, magigean pose ton. Sare alvoca im iriam tue ithium.
Come again?
Where am I?
Sankis tue,
Oh.
tonan tu ken alvoch, e magican ian ton an asans.
Where's Cortez?
Tu tone e tu ken vernilia fata tintu vermilian ton.
So basically I can only nod.
Ton. Ken it tue iraem bab simil quakite. Ton. Ken it tue iraem bab simil quakite.
Uh-huh. Can I... Oh, listen.
Aku kandi. Good. Niranton al voce. Sank al coda magic. Torante. Salhe. Naven. All tongue.
Let's just keep listening.
Al orta I beginning. Parasimtin you. You have thiesa I magic I Sara. I the knowledge. Aritua ya I tue by generations e umani. Knowledge of all tongue.
So apparently I'm starting to
Now
understand.
you have allowed the magic to enter your heart, and the knowledge of all tongue, ever present but dormant, to guide your ears and your tongue.
I understand you. You speak English? Why didn't you just tell me straight away?
No, child. I do not speak English. I speak Naven, all tongue, the common language of Arcadia.
Arcadia? Wait a second. How did I get here? What is this place and who the hell are you?
Oh, my manners have abandoned me yet again. I'm afraid my preoccupation with ancient texts and the company of my fellow fathers have left me unequipped with the grace of social intercourse.
Meaning what?
That I have been rude. My name, dear child, is Tobias Grensret, and I am the Vestrum of the Sentinel, the Order of the Balance. We are the fathers.
Balance.
Okay. I'm April. April Ryan.
I take it this is your first shift, your first passage through the divide?
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I guess this is my first shift.
Then I will explain everything. Someone must. You are without guidance, without a mentor?
Mentor? There's this guy Cortez. He assisted me, told me about magic and truth and dreams and portals. Crazy stuff. Well, it seemed crazy at the time, although now I don't...
Cortez? Ah, yes, Cortez. Very good, very good. Then come, let us proceed. Let me show you Mercuria, the grandest city of all ages.
Interesting. Show me. Show me already. Guess we're not in Kansas anymore.
Explore Mercuria, April. See the sights, meet the people, and then, when you are ready, return to the temple. I will answer whatever questions you may have then.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, fountain. Kids fighting. Beast and Rider. City. What is this? Fountain. Anything else?
The whole fountain's been carved in one piece from a granite-like material. Very impressive.
Stalls.
What the hell kind of animal is that?
Let's check out the stalls. Is there anything else? Oh, I remember this place. The map merchant. Got a dancer. Got a bird? A bird? Cups game, cups handler. Let's see.
In a world without the screen, that's what passes for entertainment. And it's pretty darn good.
I don't know about that.
Nice fountain.
Oh, go back to the stall. Go back to the stall, April.
What a sorry-looking bird.
Hey, you don't look too polished yourself, lady.
Hey!
Oops, I didn't know you could talk.
Didn't look as if you could talk either.
True. Let's talk to this merchant.
Maps, I got maps.
Maps.
Can I interest you in a map, miss? Top-notch, hand-drawn in quality ink by skilled sunwriters. Ain't no better in all the Northlands.
How much are your maps?
That depends, miss. I got a very nice one here of the border mountains for only 6 arons, fresh from the quill of a sunwriter. Maps, get your maps here.
What the hell's errands?
Do you sell maps of the city?
Can't help you there, miss. The Guild of Tourism has monopoly on city maps. I can tell you're not from around here, or you'd know that. Got tons of maps of all the Northlands, though, from the city of Tyron to the Bay of Fire. Maps!
Where can I find the Guild of Tourism?
They're closed for the holidays.
Sure, that makes sense. Mind if I ask you a couple of questions?
Yes, maps!
Do you know Vestrum Tobias?
Everyone
Maps.
knows Vestrum Tobias, girl. He's been an important part of
What
this
can you
city.
tell me about him?
Oh,
The Vestrum is an honorable man, but a conservative one, and I don't know if he still has the best interests of the people at heart. Sometimes I think he worries too much about custom. The Sentinel have been our so-called protectors and keepers of the balance for so long we don't even think of it anymore. But now that the Vanguard are introducing a new way of thinking, new philosophies, I'm afraid the Sentinel will find their power diminished before too long. Their resistance to change will be their downfall. Mark my words, their downfall for certain. And Tobias, honorable man that he is, will be remembered as the captain who went down with his ship.
okay.
How do you get along with your neighbors?
The cups handler? Stay away from him, miss. He takes great joy in robbing people's purses. You can't beat him, not without magic, and he doesn't allow magic at his table.
How would he know if I did use magic?
Oh, he's got one of those blasted talismans. They're always digging up magical artifacts in Shagagriel, and they sell them to dogs like him for a silver coin or two. Get a proper job, you son of a mole!
What do you know about Stark?
Land of wonders, strange customs, and machinery. Ah, to be in Stark. I'd give my right leg. Well, perhaps not my right leg as such. You really need two sturdy legs to stand on in this business, or you'll find yourself... yes, a grand place indeed, free of this blasted, chaotic, unpredictable magic. Does no good to anyone. Now, machines built by man, controlled by man, in servitude. Yes, the Vanguard may be a little unorthodox in their methods and teachings, but they're right about one thing. Stark and Arcadia belong together, not apart.
Okay, I'll try not to touch this right mouse button again. Get some twitchy fingers sometimes.
What's Arcadia like?
What can I say about a whole world, girl? It's a beautiful place for sure, but we're stuck in the past. We don't look ahead, not like our cousins in Stark. Magic is all well and good, but it won't bring our world into the modern age, and Arcadia is untamed. It's wild and unpredictable. Good for the map business, sure, but not so good for productivity and expansion. No, some people may consider our world a paradise. The Sentinel, for one, they'd prefer to keep it just the way it is. Me, I'd like to see some changes, and fast.
Thanks for your help.
Maps!
No maps for me today, thanks.
Fair enough, miss, but don't expect me to come running to your aid if you ever get lost in Riverwood. Without my maps, you'll probably end up a mole's dinner or worse. Maps?
No, we don't need to talk, we don't need to do anything with the cops yet, if I remember correctly. I believe we need to get a job from this map maker, if I recall correctly. But, let's go back to the temple. So I think we might need to get more information from Tobias. Okay, let's... Can you run quickly and then talk to him?
Excuse me, Vestrum Tobias?
Yes.
Tobias. Just call me Tobias, please. I require no ceremony from a distinguished guest such as yourself. Did you enjoy the sights?
I don't know. I'm overwhelmed. Walking around out there, seeing with my own two eyes things that can't possibly exist. I kept thinking, it's all a dream. I'll wake up at any moment now and everything will return to normal. But then I realized, I'm still here. It's real. I can touch it. I can smell it. You know what? It doesn't make sense. Nothing makes sense here. Magic, alien creatures, parallel worlds. I don't believe in those things. I don't believe in fairy tales.
In your world, in Stark, there is no room for magic. That is, and always has been, the curse of science, the fallibility of logic and order. They leave no room for the imagination. If it does not fit into the narrow perception of the laws of nature that your world adheres to, it's a fairy tale. But then, magic has its downsides too. It's unpredictable. It invites chaos. It puts the balance in peril in a way that science alone never could.
I keep hearing about the balance, and about Stark, and Arcadia, and... This is probably going to sound strange to you, but I'm clueless. I have no idea what this place is, or what I'm doing here, or... All I know is that something strange is happening in my world, I guess. I had dreams, and the dreams felt so real, and then things started happening in real life too. Things that couldn't happen, and
I think I will begin at the very beginning. I believe that is why you were sent here. To learn, to understand, to see for yourself. Like you said, you cannot believe in this place. Well, you will. After you have learned the truth, you will. Come with me, and I will tell you the story of Earth as your books never have. And when your eyes and ears are open to the truth, perhaps your mind will follow. We can only hope. Come.
Hopefully this is a good story.
This is the true story of the balance, as
This
observed
picture?
by the Sentinel, the Order of the Balance, the Fathers. The Sentinel Minstrom committed this story to the pages of the scriptures and to these temple walls thousands of years ago, so that coming generations could learn and understand their past and their future. The wall paintings we are looking at became known as the murals of the balance. And it is through these images that I will recount our common history to you, April Ryan. The story begins and ends here, with this mural. Ages ago and in ages to come, the earth was one, and magic and science existed side by side in nature and in all people. There was balance, and there was harmony.
You're saying there was just one world then?
One world, one earth. Magic and science in balance with each other, within each and every living creature. The power to make the stars dance and to create life itself was within our grasp. But then, humankind began to exploit this divine power of two, and they saw fit to use it for their own selfish purposes. The balance of the cosmos was in peril. Unless something was done, unless man was humbled and learned to fear the power he wrought over cosmos, the twilight of chaos would fall upon Earth. It had happened before, in distant times and on distant worlds, and it would happen again. And every man, woman, and child of every people and every race would be devoured by the coming apocalypse. We were given a visitation then. The Drag Kin, having lived among us for untold generations, rose to offer their guidance and assistance in preserving the balance on our world.
So I guess it was a Drag-kin that we met in the beginning. Not a Drag-gun.
The Drag? I think I've heard that name before.
Drag-kin, Draken, Dragons, whichever
Oh, yeah,
name they
okay.
go by, they remain the eternal servants and custodians of the balance. There were 4 of them here on Earth, and of the 4, one who would found the Order of the Balance, the Sentinel. The first Minstrom were instructed that magic and science would have to be separated before the balance collapsed and brought untold disaster. Earth would have to be split in 2 equal parts. Arcadia and Stark, magic and science, chaos and order. The first Sentinel were counted 13, 6 scientists, 6 magicians, and one who was between, the Drag-kin, our mentor, our custodian, our learned guide. Both magic and science were needed to perform this most difficult of tasks. To split a world in 2, to create 2 worlds from one.
Wasn't the use of that kind of power dangerous to the balance?
Yes, and so for this purpose, they built a tower to channel their powers and focus them on the divide that they would create. The kin had brought a disc with them, a disc forged in the fire of their world. Placed at the base of the tower, and the epicenter of the divide, the disc and the tower would become one, a conduit for the flow of magic and science. At the appointed hour, the 13 came to the tower, and with them a woman, whose destiny was decided by the purpose to which she had been born. She would be the first guardian, the human protector of the balance, who would stay in the tower for 1,000 years to watch over the 2 worlds, and to ensure that the flows of magic and science were always equal. And so the ritual began.
Very
One
interesting.
world was to become 2, separated by the balance, and each world visible to the other only by way of dreams. Who was ushered into which world was not an arbitrary choice, nor one taken lightly. For the magical creatures, the choice was simple. They had to go to Arcadia. Their kind would not survive in Stark. But for others, Families were torn apart, lovers separated, and friends lost for all eternity. Encircled by the 12 and the One who would be Guardian, the disk at the base of the tower began to spin faster and faster as more and more power flowed through it, until it was a blur. Darkness enveloped the tower, but the disk glowed brighter and brighter. Reality turned, and in one moment, a new reality had been created and 2 new worlds born. In the tower there was silence. The original disk had disappeared, and in its place was a smaller counterpart, a similar yet different disk. Around and outside the tower, the world looked different. They were now between Stark and Arcadia, between reality and dream. This was the realm of the Balance and of the Guardian, and it would be her home for the next 1,000 years. The one who was kin picked up the disk and said, "This disk is a counterpart to the original disk, which has now become this realm, and the key to which has been split and divided in 4. The key is the disk, and the disk is this realm." This mystified the 12, and the one who was kin continued, "Know only this. The Guardian's realm cannot be broken unless the disk is broken. But nor can it be repaired without the disk being repaired. The 4 pieces, that is the key, will be given to the 6 of you who are to be taken to Arcadia for safekeeping. Yet the key will never be complete," he went on, "without the precious stones that adorn each piece. I will keep 1, and my fellow kin the 3 others. Should the day come when this realm must be repaired, or the worlds reunited, and that day will come, you will assemble the disk, and the kin will come together one last time." With that, 6 of the 13 went to Arcadia, and 6 to Stark, and the one who would be Guardian ascended to the throne. Witness the mural, where her dreams and hopes, her very soul, were locked away in the disk. In service of the Balance, these traits were nothing but barriers. Through new eyes, the imbalance between the worlds was as clear as the stars themselves to the Guardian, and with one thought, she channeled chaos from Arcadia and logic from Stark into the disk, and redistributed the power wherever it was needed. A new era had begun, the era of the Guardian. After they left the tower, 2 of the Drakkin went to Stark, the other 2 to Arcadia. The 6 who came to each world started what is now known as the Sentinel, the Order of the Balance. But while in Arcadia the Sentinel thrived, in Stark they did not. In Stark, the memories of magic and the balance could not survive in the face of the new reality of natural laws, of logic, and of science. And soon, very soon, Arcadia became nothing more than legend, a myth, tales of fairies to recount to impressionable children, and stories to frighten and entertain around a fire. And while dreams still brought sights and sounds of Arcadia to those asleep in Stark, they were discounted as mere dreams and nothing more.
So that's it? We forgot about our past and about Arcadia? And that's the way things are? Then what's wrong with that? And why does magic from Arcadia seem to have begun leaking through to Stark?
That is another long story. But I can tell that you are tired of stories, and so I shall be brief. As I told you, while in Arcadia, the Sentinel grew in numbers and in strength. In Stark, while flourishing for a brief time, they were soon diminished and powerless. Some of the Stark Sentinel did not take kindly to this, and they berated the Arcadian Sentinel for their politics and teachings. The Stark Sentinel wanted people to work towards reunification, while their brothers did not. So the inevitable soon came to pass, and the Stark Sentinel parted ways with their Arcadian brothers, and named themselves the Vanguard. And while at first their philosophy was not so different from ours, over the years it changed radically. The Vanguard wanted the divide torn down, the worlds reunited, and the return to what they called the Glorious Ages, when humankind could control the forces of cosmos. But first they needed their own servant in charge of the balance, their own guardian. Now, every 1,000 years, a new guardian took the place of the old one, because no one can be separated from their souls for any longer than 1,000 years. Every 1,000 years, a new guardian was born. The balance provided the seed from which a new fruit grew. But now, it has been 200 years since the previous guardian, the 12th guardian, was to be replaced. Every new child born to the balance has been taken away by the Vanguard to be studied in an attempt to control them. In every instance so far, they have failed. But the 12th guardian could wait no longer. Only a short time ago, the disk in the tower shattered, and the guardian left his throne. The balance is now untended, and we have yet to find a new guardian. Unless we do so, the Vanguard may get their chance. And they may be able to place their own puppet on the throne to rule the balance according to their principles. And this we cannot allow. It will mean the end of Stark and Arcadia, and the dawn of an era of chaos. Now do you see?
I understand the history. I can even accept it. But I don't understand why I'm here and what Cortez wants with me.
The balance is in peril, April. The Guardian has abandoned his tower. He has disappeared, and there is no one to take his place. He must be reinstated to protect the balance until a new Guardian may be found.
And what can I do? I'm nobody. I've just been having a lot of bad dreams.
You are a strong shifter. I have not seen your like in my lifetime.
A shifter?
Someone capable of opening doors between worlds. A shift. A portal between the realms of Stark and Arcadia.
Are you kidding? I didn't do anything. Cortez was the one who opened the shift, and he just waved his hands around in the air. I don't think I'd be capable of opening a portal even if I had a magic wand.
Only a shifter's own power can allow her to travel. No one else can do this for her. Cortez only channeled your power to aid you. He would not be able to step through the shift himself.
Even if that's true, I don't have any control over my talent.
Not yet. But in time you will. How else do you intend to travel back to your world?
God, I hadn't even thought about that yet. Can you help me?
I'm afraid not. Even if I could shift, I would not be able to channel through you like Cortez did.
So, I'm on my own?
If you have any questions, I will do my best to answer them. But aside from that, yes. Yes, you are.
That's so not cool.
No, it has been unseasonably warm. If you don't mind, I will return to my studies now. Thank you for listening to an old man and his long stories.
No, thank you. It's starting to make a little bit of sense now.
That is good news. Come see me again if you have any more questions.
So that was indeed a very long story, but a very important one to this game, and really interesting. So, well, I think I've reached my limit for this episode, so I want to say thank you for watching. I'll be back with more Dreamfall. It's not Dreamfall Jabbers. I'll be back with more The Longest Journey soon. See ya.